Tzu Chi volunteers helping families to stand on their own feet. Sufficient drug supplies are available in the Taiwan medical system. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Joyce. Thank you for joining us. In our first report, a foreign bride from China, Zheng Yanhui, has been shouldering the family's burden since her husband fell ill in Taiwan. Has been extra difficult without a driver's license. Let's take a look at how Tzu Chi volunteers are helping her and her family.
I really appreciate Tzu Chi's sisters for helping me. Since my husband fell ill, she has been caring for me.
要是他颈知道这个脚的马桶，给他按20分钟、30分钟这样，给他按多久，我就有空就给他按。他这个筋骨、筋里面要给他抓出来。27万多，药费没有加下去，药费另外就13万8千多。
The cost was $9,000 without adding the cost of the medications. The medication cost $4,500. We're still paying for it now. It is difficult to find a job now because of the epidemic. I'm illiterate, so I cannot pick and choose work. There are work I cannot do. Now that he's ill, I should shoulder the family's burden. I need to obtain a motorcyclist license. If people catch me riding without a license, I'll be fined $200. I do not have money. I simply hope I can get a license and a stable job.
口试的，用听来考试这样子。睡眠不足，神志不清，只要小心驾驶，仍然可以开车。错，录音的方式就是让他多听啊。
I recorded so she can practice listening. When she takes the test, she'll be used to taking the test by listening to the questions.
那我们就从这边列印看看。
Since she is illiterate, a book is a book without words for her. I think that she might even get a headache trying to read it. When my child was little, before he went to school, I told him to read. I think the effect was quite good. I went to the motor vehicle office to ask about tests for illiterate people. People who are illiterate can also take the test. You pick the answers after listening to the questions.
To take the test, one must be illiterate. Since I'm illiterate, I don't dare take the test.
变会，你看这一个，这个是什么？你看得懂吗？这个就是你看那个图，你看这个图，你不要看下面，你看这个图，
你看图，这个就是要2段走。
对。
说我要找到工作，找到了8点上班，我7点送。
If I can find a job that starts at 8 o'clock, I can send my child to school at 7 and go buy some groceries. When my husband needs to go to the hospital, I can take him there with my motorcycle. A round trip on a taxi costs $13 to $17.
哪一种语文？中文。我们去看了考场之后，我觉得那个心会踏实。
As the spread of COVID-19 gradually coming under control, Beijing Tzu Chi volunteers were finally able to visit Mentougou village once again. Although it has been half a year since the long-term care family saw Tzu Chi volunteers, cordial welcomes were given just like the old times.
At 7 o'clock in the morning, Tzu Chi volunteers depart from the city. As soon as they arrived at Mentougou, they saw a familiar person to come and greet them. Affected by the epidemic, the monthly visit was delayed for half a year. The little baby, who used to be carried in arms, is about to start walking. Wei Qijie, who studies in middle school, also grew a lot. His father passed away 4 years ago and left a large amount of debt. His mother always frowned. But now, the family is making dumplings with the volunteers while talking about the future. Another child, Cao Mengyao, also misses the volunteers. Her mother left her as soon as she was born, and her father seldom went home. Fortunately, Xiche's sisters always came to care for her. This time, they come to encourage her to go vegetarian for environmental protection.
你呀，吃15顿，你等于是种了一棵树，厉不厉害？厉不厉害？
Within a day, the volunteers visited 3 households and sent their long-lost greetings. They were also happy to see everyone and everything was fine.
For World Environment Day, Tzu Chi volunteers work with government sectors and other social enterprises to promote environmental awareness across 13 locations in Fujian, China. One of the campaigns were held in Xike, Xiamen. Let's take a look at the volunteers in action.
Xiamen Tzu Chi volunteers collaborated with Xike town government and a few other NGOs to promote recycling.
We'll organize events on spreading awareness about recycling. This year is more meaningful because we get to work together with Tzu Chi and we're able to spread awareness even better.
No matter it's the quiet streets or the busy town area, volunteers spread into groups to spread their knowledge.
It's a very meaningful thing. We can also let more people to better understand recycling and protect the environment.
There's also a recycling volunteer, Huang Shuzhen. Although she has been in the hospital many times due to sickness, but she has been working harder than ever after she recovered.
Although I'm doing recycling at home every day, but the meaning is very different today. I feel very happy and grateful to be here today.
United, we'll all be stronger. Along this path of doing recycling, the more people there is, the earth will be a better place.
Xintai District Tzu Chi Commissioner training class came to a Linkou recycling station to better understand the process of sorting and recycling. The event also paid tribute to the dedication and hard work of the recycling volunteers.
Environmental protection is part of Tzu Chi's 4 missions and 8 footprints. Recycling is an important part of Tzu Chi, and it's one class that can't be skipped.
It's Strider put it over there. Both of you have been practicing for more than 500 years, so you all have a better understanding.
The commissioner training activity for the Xintai district was held at this Linkou recycling station, which was like a classroom for the day as many learned how to classify recycling and find new use for discarded items.
White, black, green. These 3 colors have to be separated. This has to be done because there's a different price for each color.
After the screws are removed, this part can be tossed out as garbage. We don't want it. Yes, after it's taken apart, we still have to separate it, as there are many different categories.
I only fetch the recyclables and bring them here. I only pour the recyclables when I come back. I didn't know that there is a lot to learn about recycling.
Besides learning by doing, they can also look up to the more experienced recycling volunteers.
When I was doing recycling, this elderly woman said, "Don't stab your hand," as I really believe that she cares about me.
I'm also correcting my problems, such as my bad temper. Actually, to be honest, my personality sometimes is not very good.
Volunteer Chen Jingli and his 3rd grade son also joined the training from 5 in the morning and agreed that it was a very important lesson worth learning.
The global COVID-19 crisis has resulted in drug shortage worldwide. However, the medical system remains intact in Taiwan, and there may be no reason to panic. While community pharmacies may have trouble securing supplies for popular drugs, hospitals retain sufficient stocks around the country.
你有在其他地方去找过了吗？有。
别的地方都找不到。
Even with this prescription, many people have had the experience of going to the community-based pharmacies to collect medicine, only to learn that not every medicine is readily available.
I couldn't get a medicine last month. I still can't get a medicine this month.
During the COVID-19 outbreak, many people feared going to the hospital and changed to community pharmacies to collect medicines, but the inventory was insufficient.
这个血药短缺啊。
This blood pressure medicine is out of stock, and so is this anti-diabetes drug. Prostate medicine is also out of stock, along with common sleeping pills. We carry about 1,000 or 2,000 medicines, and about 10 to 13% are out of stock.
If the patient suddenly goes without medication or stops taking the medicine for high blood pressure, it will have a rebound effect, and there is a great risk.
There are 3 channels through which community pharmacies purchase medicines. 80% are supplied by wholesalers, 10% are directly allocated by pharmaceutical companies, and the remaining 10% are from distributors designated by pharmaceutical companies.
During this epidemic, we found that the proportion of prescriptions being collected at community-based pharmacies was around 30%, but this has now risen to nearly 60%.
The ratio of free market mechanism for drug distribution amongst hospitals and community pharmacies used to be 7 to 3, but after the epidemic, the ratio dramatically reversed to 4 to 6.
Why are so many medicines not available in community pharmacies? The main reason is the problem of uneven distribution. Most pharmaceutical companies give priority to their medicines to medical institutions.
We came to the hospital's pharmacy and found the Western medicine inventory here is quite abundant and almost no different than the supply in previous years. This is very different from the situation experienced by community pharmacies and drug producers.
Our drug procurement system is actually different from that of the community pharmacies, so the control of drug volumes will still be done by the FDA.
Most of the current shortage of drugs in Taiwan comes from the uneven distribution of drugs to hospitals and community pharmacies. There are only no more than 10 kinds of drugs that are in shortage according to the FDA, namely heart disease, antibiotics, hemostatic agents, myocardial infarction, anesthetics, hyperthyroidism, prostate cancer, Parkinson's disease, epilepsy.
The main reason why there's a shortage is raw material sources may have been impacted. There are some countries where the epidemic situation is more severe, and they may not produce raw materials as expected, or there are some flights cancelled, so there will be some problems in the supply of raw materials.
Raw material supplies for domestic pharmaceutical factories come 33% from China, followed by India 18%, and then Japan, Germany, and Italy.
The stomach medicine Nirudin has been out of stock for a long time, and now China is also facing shortage in raw materials.
The shortage of raw materials will certainly affect the quantity of Western drugs. This is the drug warehouse facility of Panbiotic. Here we see the finished product storage area to better understand the current situation.
In the past, our pharmaceutical warehouse was full, but this shows that the current storage is much more serious.
80% of the Western medicine products in Taiwan rely upon imported raw materials, with domestic pharmaceutical companies processing them. Only 20% of the medicines are imported directly from abroad. Therefore, most Western medicines are made in Taiwan.
All we can do is make up for the shortage in raw materials, though some have risen a lot in price, some even nearly 10 times.
In fact, China has gradually stabilized its supply because it seems that the epidemic is slowing down, so its production capacity is gradually recovering and improving.
From a long-term perspective, whether Taiwan's pharmaceutical raw materials are in shortage depends upon developments associated with the global epidemic. But at least for the past 6 months, there will be no drug shortage in Taiwan, and the public should not enter into drug panic mode. This means that it's not necessary to hoard medicines and disrupt the original supply and demand of the current marketplace.
Many Indonesian communities are affected by the economic downfall due to the novel coronavirus pandemic. In North Jakarta, the police organized soup kitchens, providing free lunch for those in need since March. DaAi TV Indonesia also joined the action of good deeds by donating cooking oil for the community. At the same time, Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter donated protective equipment to 13 social health care centers in the same area.
Without the donation of medical supplies from Tzu Chi Indonesia, many healthcare workers in North Jakarta might only be wearing rain ponchos to protect themselves against the coronavirus.
Karena kalau untuk puskesmas sendiri kan kita tidak tahu nih yang datang ke sini.
Because we don't know for those who come to the health center if they have been infected or not. If we don't have medical protective equipment to wear, then it's like going to battle without gear. So we're very grateful for Tzu Chi's donation to us.
Ada Yayasan Bunda Suci yang sudah memberikan donasi APD yang sangat lengkap dari atas sampai bawah ya.
Xige's donation of medical supply is very important to us. It helps to protect our healthcare workers' safety.
Besides the medical supplies, Tzu Chi volunteers donated disinfectants, biscuits, and milk to 13 social healthcare centers. Meanwhile, this police precinct works with a local charity organization to open up a soup kitchen to provide lunch for those in need. DaAi TV Indonesia has donated cooking oil to help.
Terima kasih saya ucapkan untuk DaAi TV karena telah memberi bantuan.
We want to thank DaAi TV for the donation of 408 liters of cooking oil. This is the station's care for us, and it helps us out a lot. Besides using it in the soup kitchen, we can share it with the locals who may need it.
Kami sebagai kepolisian agar dapat kami olah kembali dan kita bagikan kepada masyarakat.
With the rise of unemployment, society can be at ease as long as the people's stomachs are full and their spirits are fulfilled.
As COVID-19 is brought under control in Taiwan, Taoyuan Tzu Chi volunteers headed to the Taoyuan Huaxun Fire Department to promote vegetarianism and to express their appreciation towards the firefighters, who have also been on the front line during this pandemic.
For the firefighters, their duty is to save lives regardless of whether it's a pandemic period or not.
They must be fully equipped with the protective gowns, face masks, face shields, and boots. It's a full set like a nurse. We're very grateful for their service.
Their meals might also be disrupted because of an emergency. The pandemic has begun to slow down in Taiwan. Tzu Chi volunteers head over to the Taoyuan Huaxun Fire Department to express their gratitude and also spread the concept of vegetarianism.
When we are standing at a different person's point of view, adopting a vegetarian diet is a must. You will not want to harm the animal just like you do not want others to harm yourself. Therefore, I choose to become a vegetarian. I'm lucky to be born in Taiwan, and vegetarian meals can also fill my stomach.
After listening to the sisters sharing, I feel that we must have this thought to encourage us to adopt the vegetarian diet every day. I would also like to share it to my wife and encourage her to become a vegetarian.
My opinion is to take lighter meals. It will make our body feel lighter, and it's beneficial for our lives.
A firefighter's job is to save lives, and with the practice of eating a vegetarian diet, they'll be able to save even the lives of the animals.
The staff cafeteria of a Hsinchu construction company has taken a challenge to provide an exclusive vegetarian menu. To carry out this mission and attract staff members to get accustomed to vegetarian food, Chef Zhang Chunzhi has made a lot of effort.
刚开始有点错愕，很怕吃不饱。当下有一点。
It was an email which was shocking to the staff. They later announced that all employees would have a vegetarian meal a day. As a supervisor, there's another worry.
Worried about changing from 2 meals to all meals a week, I think my colleagues' mindsets need to change, and the first thing is how to communicate with our soul.
She works efficiently and cut vegetables quickly. If the company can successfully promote vegetarianism, she is the key person.
我从我邻居那边采买来，我早上才去摘的。
Zhang Chunzhi often gets up at 3 or 4 in the morning to design the menu. Of course, she has to take care of their nutrition.
Red pepper, yellow pepper, and mushrooms mixed with tomatoes and add basil, mix them well. Put the mixed ingredients in the eggplant and we're ready to bake it.
The closer the time is to noon, the busier the kitchen will be. All preparations are completed in one go. And outdoors, a pot of soup being cooked with firewood.
Fine wood burns faster while thicker wood burns longer, so that the fire will last longer.
It is the company's tradition to burn firewood every day. This stove is symbol of the company's concept of back to nature. In fact, to promote vegetarianism is the vision of the business owner to build a sustainable home.
To be sustainable is not just human beings, other animals, insects, nature, all are a community of life. We have also seen different ideas about the concept of vegetarianism.
I think this is a great breakthrough and courage, so I will sponsor some food for them. If business owners take the lead in promoting vegetarianism, I think its social influence and contribution are great.
社会的影响力跟贡献是很大的。
After serving dishes, the chef changed the staff's resistance to vegetarianism. Even colleagues who work outside have come back for lunch.
每一道都很好吃，然后尤其是汤最好喝。
从色香味都准备得很好
哦，赞不绝口。我们都说它是素食精灵，大家都吃得很开心。
不会是因为吃素就吃不饱，是因为我们活动量大。但现在吃了素之后，发现精神很好。
One vegetarian meal a day is just the beginning. The employees' consumption of vegetarian food can have a big impact on society.
They eat happily and I'm happy too. This is my biggest achievement.
In Kaohsiung, Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteers initiated a vegetarian campaign, inviting 12 vegetarian restaurants to prepare 22,000 meals to promote vegetarian diet. Not only have the volunteers made a music video for publicity, they have also designed a map of vegetarian restaurants for those that are willing to give it a try.
Moving their bodies and doing exaggerated movement, these young volunteers are dancing to the familiar music in front of 10 vegetarian restaurants. To attract young people, the volunteers have also designed a map of vegetarian restaurants, telling people about vegetarian restaurants in Kaohsiung.
While making this map, about 2 to 3 restaurants have closed down, so we really need to support them. Adopting a vegetarian diet is loving the earth, supporting local restaurants, and reducing carbon emissions. There are many benefits and ideals upheld by these restaurants. We should try to embrace vegetarianism. It is really convenient for us to adopt a vegetarian diet.
Entrepreneurs in Kaohsiung have initiated a vegetarian food promotion activity. Volunteers have invited 12 vegetarian restaurants to prepare 22,000 meal boxes. They are also nutritious.
I hope as people open the meal boxes, they will be attracted by the looks. We want everyone to see many beautiful colors, which represent different nutritional values. These vegetables are like antioxidants for our human bodies.
With analysis of nutritional values of meal boxes, volunteers invited policemen from Criminal Investigation Division to adopt a vegetarian diet. In addition, they deliver meal boxes to Children Are Us Foundation.
Maybe their families won't prepare vegetables for them. Maybe they simply boil or fry the vegetables. Are there more ways to help them understand the values of vegetables? Then they will have more motivations to eat vegetables.
The volunteers have worked together with the vegetarian restaurants to promote vegetarianism. Not only do they help the public get to know the nutritional values of vegetables, they've also helped the restaurants attract customers.
Tzu Chi Academy in North Toronto held a calligraphy competition for students who experience the beauty of Chinese writing and culture. Thank you for joining us and see you next time.